Welcome back to the R-Rated Podcast. The R-Rated Podcast. This week's guest is... Welcome back to the R-Rated Podcast. Today's guest is Jayden, and you might recognize her from TikTok. And she is kind of a big deal in the musical world. So I kind of wanted to get a little inside scoop to how it all started for you and what sparked that initial spark to want to play guitar, to really pick up that guitar and be like, I'm going to do this.
I have no idea. I literally don't know. For my 10th birthday, I had just moved to California, right? So I was born in Seattle. I kind of like...
Oh, I love Seattle.
Yeah, I love Seattle too. Okay. But I was born there. I grew up in Florida. And then right before I turned 10, we moved to the Bay Area. And Bay Area represent. Yeah, and I don't know, like, I just decided I wanted a guitar for my 10th birthday. Like, there was no reason.
Was there someone that, like, inspired you, or, like, you're like, you know, maybe you were watching a music video and you're like, that's cool, I want to be just like that person?
Like, I can't even say that there was like this moment, you know? I mean, I've always been an artist. Like, actually, when I was young, I used to draw a lot, and
I'm like, I can't draw to save my life.
Yeah, I wanted to be like an artist, you know?
Really cool.
And then, you know, I just sort of ended up switching gears, and I was like, I just really have always had a proclivity to like create things and like wanted to make stuff. And my dad always uses this like phrase, he's like, make something out of nothing, you know?
I love that.
So he always
were they supportive?
Like, super supportive. Yeah,
I mean, like that's key.
Yeah, I mean, my dad, my mom, and my grandma all showed me all these different types of music. Like, my grandma, I remember, like, she would play like the Seven Nation Army in the car.
Okay.
And my dad would either play, well, he liked rap, but he didn't want to play it for me when I was a kid because of all the swear words.
Just like, what does it say?
Right. But he still wanted me to like listen to real music, you know? So he would play stuff like Nirvana and, you know, all the grunge bands. Then my mom was really into house music and like dance music, and so I love I love EDM. Like, that's still, and also
I used to go to a lot of festivals and raves, so I'm like, I'm all about it.
Oh, I totally and then like Gwen Stefani, Avril Lavigne, like those are my big ones right there.
So there it is, Gwen Stefani. I mean, she inspired me too, like her style. I mean,
totally.
I
literally how I learned how to spell.
I know, literally.
It's like
B-A.
How could I forget?
I know, literally. So when did you decide to? I guess I know you have a band, so it's like, when did that like come into play? Like, when did you guys like connect and like find each other? And how did that whole process work? Because like, you don't want to just like start a band with like just anybody.
Yeah. So well, I was in bands in high school, and that I actually like started, and you know, I joined. So I'll start like from who I've played with and everything. I'll just go right in. So
back in time.
I just always knew I wanted to perform, and I just love performing. I love writing, I love creating. And when I was 15, there was this band that reached out to me. Like, they were all girls, and we're just like a high school band, you know?
Okay, no, but still.
And so they had a little audition for me, and then they needed a lead guitarist.
I always like, you know, like Freaky Friday, when she was in a band, Lindsay Lohan.
That might be one of the things that inspired me, for sure.
Literally, like, for a second, I was like, I want to be in a band, like, all like, but then I was like, I can't really play any instruments. I can't. I
always think of that movie,
but that movie definitely inspired me.
That's such a good. Yeah, I love.
So that's kind of like what I'm picturing. I'm like, she's Lindsay Lohan.
totally an influence. Yeah, I mean.
So what was your thought process when they performed for you and like thought like the audition happened and stuff?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just kind of. I don't want to be cocky, but I knew I had it from the moment I went in.
Hey, confidence is key. You have to believe in yourself for other people to believe in you. You know?
Yeah. I mean, this is like low-key stuff, you know. Later, we were in a band for a couple years. Actually, we kicked the drummer out of that band, and then I became the drummer.
Wait, you do drums too?
Yeah.
Wait, okay. Yeah. So what are all the instruments that you play?
Guitar. I've played drums for a couple years.
Cool.
I don't really call myself a drummer, but I can.
Yeah.
And right now I'm just learning how to sing. So that's like a new thing for me.
Very cool. And would you say rock is like your genre of music, or what's like?
I don't know. It's hard to say because I'm influenced by everything, like I said, you know.
I like that. And do you really have to be caged into one category of music? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, why can't you branch out and do other
exactly
things?
And like the great thing about right now is everyone's doing every fucking genre blend of everything. Like we have like all the pop punk guys or whatever doing their thing, but I also hear, you know, EDM mixed with metal and rock and all this stuff, and you know, I
has
still
TikTok helped with that? Like being able to like mesh different tunes, like maybe like mixing.
I mean, since like most of my content is me playing over popular songs, it's really sort of like showing me how I can just sort of get into you can really make anything.
I literally was like, oh my god, like, because I know all the songs that you were like covering, and I was like, I know the song, I've heard it on the radio, I know the song. I just pretty much will be on my For You page, I'm like, oh, that song's doing really well, I'm gonna cover it. Smart. I was gonna ask you, what was your, like, how did that idea like come to you? Like, I'm gonna cover these popular songs.
I don't know, it's so funny. Like, I had a friend who started blowing up on TikTok, and she was like, you gotta get on this, bro. And I tried to do this whole like thing of I tried to do the whole hot girl thing and like whatever, like that's not.
What's the hot girl thing?
You know, like transitions and like you know, outfit, like
oh my god, I couldn't even attempt that.
There's tracks.
Like nobody.
I can't do like that's not me. Like I can do it with a guitar in my hand though.
No, you totally can.
And so like I don't know. They had this song trending. This is at the end of 2019. So I've been on TikTok like pretty
early on.
And when it was still cringy to say you had TikTok, and
now it's like everyone has TikTok.
Right, exactly. And the song was trending, Scotty Doesn't Know. It's from this movie. And it was trending, and I saw a girl play it on guitar, and
you're like, I can do that, but
that I didn't want to say that, but I thought it. And she had like 1 million likes, and that back then 1 million likes was like, you're famous, you know? So I mean, for me, it's like you're so famous to me. Right. So I did it, and then it did really well. And then I was like, I'm just going to keep doing this. I know this is going to work.
Yeah. You found your niche.
Right.
It's really cool.
So I think I just, that's kind of been my downfall now, because I've been having a harder time finding content because like, you know.
Have you had like other people copy like what you do? Like, do you think like.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of people. I want to say that I was like one of the first people to start doing it.
Yeah.
But now TikTok is super saturated. So a lot of people, I have had someone copy, well, he gave me credit, but he did give me credit. He like 30 minutes later in a comment.
In a comment.
Right. So I saw the video. It was actually that Dua Lipa Levitating cover.
Oh, it was.
And so he played the exact same thing I played. Yeah, and it's fine if you play the same song and do your own thing. Like I don't own that song.
Don't copy my homework.
Right? Yeah. So I'm like, and then he played the same thing that I played. So I'm like, okay, I wrote that. You know, that is something that I wrote. But then he did give me credit later. I didn't say anything because I was like, you know, whatever. I'm not gonna. I just pick my battles, and it's also like, it's just could have. You never know. Anyone can write. He could have seen it, forgot about it, and been like, oh, this is a cool riff. Like, that's a thing that happens. You know, I'll accidentally write someone else's song all the time.
I love it.
Yeah, but actually him and I collabed way later on. And
no way.
We were following each other.
Okay. So do you still enjoy doing TikToks the way that you did when you first started?
It's sort of like an ebb and flow. Like sometimes I'll really enjoy it, and sometimes I'll be really inspired by something, and sometimes I'll be like, fucking want to do this. Yeah. It depends, and especially
but that's with everything. I feel like that's real. Like I feel like it would be fake to be like, like I'm always so like happy and excited. Like no one's really like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm obviously grateful for all the opportunities it's given me, and having the platform. But
so how? Yeah, let's talk about that. What has like come from TikTok? I guess would you say TikTok has helped with your music career, or it has like something else like helped you? Like what was your path?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I just started growing my account, and I wasn't like I knew it was gonna work, and pretty much at around 800K, I got reached out to by a manager in LA. I was still living in LA.
Okay,
I was still living in the Bay actually.
Okay,
and then you know it was funny because right before that happened, I was thinking I really need a manager because I need more brand deals.
So you already have a manager.
I do have a manager.
Exciting. So you got reached out on TikTok, and what were like, how did you feel? Were you like excited? Like, were you like, is this real?
Oh my God. Yeah. Like I got this email, and she actually had managed like I think she managed Nessa Barrett or whatever,
cool, yeah.
and like
I've
the
heard of
Sway
her.
House or whatever, all the like TikTokers,
Right.
right? And I guess her firm or management firm or whatever was looking to expand to musicians and like do all of that. And basically, yeah, so I signed with her, and then I was like, okay, well now I gotta move to LA.
Were you like, no, this was like my path? Like, did you kind of like, like manifest it for yourself?
I did. It was crazy because it was right like the week that I was thinking I really want to get a manager because I'm starting to get brand deals and I need someone to talk for me and like, get prices up and all that stuff and all that shitty stuff that I don't want to do. I don't want to like price gouge people.
Yeah, exactly.
And because when our first phone call, she's like, "How much do you charge for a TikTok?" I was like, "I don't know, like 200." And she was like, "You have 800K. You should be charging 800." And I'm like, "Oh, that's a big jump."
Yeah, I was wondering like how that even works. Like, how do they like? I'm not like. I barely TikTok. I like to go for the entertainment. Like I watch and I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm stuck for hours and I'm like, how did this happen?
Right. It's very
But I personally am not like a TikToker. So like how many videos like a day did you have to like make to, I guess, get to the point that you are today?
Honestly, like I really value quality over quantity. So, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't do because they'll just keep posting, and like hopefully one's going to click. Right. Exactly. So, but what I do is, and that's, like I said, it's another one of my downfalls in some ways because I really will only post if I know it's going to work. Okay. And so, I mean,
like that. That's a different approach.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, in the sort of building up, it was probably like twice a week. But they would do really well. You know, I'd get 2 million views a week is great. Yeah. And especially for 2 videos. That's awesome. You know? Yeah. So, and then, occasionally it'd be, one video gets, 5 million or one that I did that really blew up was, I did Toxic by Britney Spears.
Oh my God, I love Toxic.
Yeah. So that one did really well. And then on Instagram and it got reposted a bunch. So like that was cool. Yeah. Made it easier to build an Instagram following, which I feel like is a lot more like.
It's a little tricky. That's
trickier, right? It's harder, I think. Yeah. Well, now that they have the Reels.
Do you do Reels also? Is that?
I do. Yeah. Now I post my TikToks to Reels as well. Makes sense. That's really built my Instagram following a lot. Like that's such a great opportunity.
Yeah. That. Yeah. So social media definitely helps a lot when it comes to building your music career. That's awesome.
Right. Yeah.
And have you done more like solo stuff now or are you like in a band currently?
Yeah. So right now, so I started playing for this dark pop artist. Her name's Death by Romy.
Okay. Cool.
She's really sick.
How long have you guys been playing together?
Yeah, so I met her at a birthday party for my friend, like in the beginning of last year. Okay. And she already knew me from TikTok, we met, and she was like, "Oh, come out to the session next week." And she's like, "I'll fly you back out to LA." I was like, "All right." I'm like, yeah, right. And I was like, "Oh, you're gonna fly me out? That's like, serious stuff." And it was so funny because I guess the manager she was with at that time got she got the tickets for 2 weeks later. So I show up to the airport and I'm like, oh my God, I can't check in for my flight because these tickets are for fucking
hasn't happened yet.
Not for today.
Oh my God.
But I did end up getting tickets to just fly out that weekend. Okay. And then I also flew back out 2 weeks later.
I'm assuming it went well the first time because you wouldn't go back.
Yeah. No, it went well. I mean, it was just, it was cool. It was actually intimidating.
I was going to say, were you nervous?
Yeah. Because I'd only met her like really quick at this party, and we didn't really talk that much.
I was gonna say how long were you talking enough to be like, okay, like maybe we'll collab in the future? Was it just like, hey,
no,
nice to meet you?
It was literally like, hey, oh my God, you should come to the studio. I'm with she was working with Andy Morin from Death Grips. Got it. And he's the producer, and and I was like, oh, I know Death Grips. Yeah, I'll fucking be there. Yeah. And it's funny, like the second time around I had work on one of the days and I was in LA and I called them and I was like, hey, like I'm not gonna make it in today. I have food poisoning. And meanwhile I'm like fucking 300 miles away. Like,
hey, I mean, you got to make choices, and in that situation I'm like, I think you made the right decision. Like, right. I'm sorry, like day job, but
yeah, no, exactly. And we got opportunity. Yeah. I mean,
so were you nervous? like, how did you prepare for this? Like, did you, were you like, no, I practice, like, do you practice every day? Like, how do you?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely play every day. I wouldn't say I always like practice. Like sometimes,
Yeah.
I'll just be noodling around.
Right.
And other times it's like, if I get sent something, I'll be practicing that. Writing is also just a nice form of practicing for me.
Do you write songs too?
Yeah, working on that. That's been a tough one for me, actually. Writing on guitar is easier for me, but I'm working on writing lyrics and all that stuff. But yeah, and so, but going back to opportunities, something I did recently was I played at Coachella.
Screaming. This is the first year I didn't go to Coachella. I'm
really?
sad. I could have seen you.
This is my first time ever going. I've never even been to
I'm
Coachella.
like, backtrack. How did we get to Coachella? Not like, I'm just like, what? That is crazy. That is so exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
For anyone who doesn't know Coachella, it's like the biggest festival in SoCal. So, do you live under a rock?
You'd be surprised. I posted about Coachella on my TikTok, and 2 comments were like, "What's Coachella?"
No,
I was like,
fucking with you.
Right? No, but yeah. Basically, so my management, when I was. Now that I'm sort of working on my own artist project, they set me up with this producer, and he's really good friends with this DJ and singer Gigi McGree.
Very cool.
And I had seen her like at a festival in like 2019, and so it was super random.
Yeah.
And this is like at the beginning of this year, and so I was in the studio with these guys, and then like 2 months ago, I get a text, like I was having like a shitty ass fucking day already, and I get this text saying, hey, like Gigi wants a girl band for her Coachella performance, do you want to play? Basically was what he said. And I was like,
literally scream.
I was like, oh my god. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I immediately like called my dad and like called my mom, and I was like,
that is so surreal. Like I feel like so many artists like wait for that big moment of like, I'm gonna headline at Coachella, like
literally,
and like to be able to have that opportunity and like at such a young age, it's so amazing.
Yeah, I was literally on FaceTime with my friend, my mouth just dropped up, and I was like, I just got asked to play at Coachella.
That is so crazy. That is so cool.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. It's the first festival I've ever played.
I was gonna say, was that like your first concert, first like festival? Like, what's the biggest, I guess, like show you've done? Like, how many people prior to Coachella?
Yeah, so prior to Coachella, probably like, I don't know, maybe like 300 people playing with the Romy.
Like you have experience performing in front of crowds.
I mean,
like,
I've done it from day one. Yeah, I feel like the one place I'm not anxious is on stage.
Wow.
Like that's
so
like
no stage fright.
No, I've never really had stage fright.
I feel like, oh my god, like, literally. Screaming.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I just always knew like. Once I figured out, I'm like, this is what I'm meant to do. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, you can feel it in here when you. Yeah, that's
right.
amazing.
But we are doing with Death by Romy. We're going to in 2 weeks. We're going to be playing. There's this like festival that Bring Me the Horizon is putting on. It's this Malta thing in Malta, which I didn't even know what the fuck Malta was.
Malta, that's so funny. Like the only reason why I know where Malta is because my stepdad is from Malta, and it's like this tiny little.
It's a tiny like Mediterranean island.
Yeah, literally like by Sicily somewhere. Like
right, I had no idea what it was. And then Death by Romy.
That is so cool. You're like, I don't know where it is, but I'm gonna go perform.
Right. Well,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, I'd heard about it when the band announced it because I'm a fan of Bring Me the Horizon, and they're one of my influences. But then Death by Romy is like friends with the singer and all this stuff, and then just recently she was like, oh yeah, so I got booked to play, and they actually had another guitarist hired. And so basically it's really funny because we had this show at Whiskey A Go Go at the beginning of
I know Whiskey A Go Go.
Yeah, it was at the beginning of March, and of course I was playing with her because it's local. And her like our moms get like drunk or something, and like her mom's like, you are playing this show, you need to go to Europe with Romy, like she's not doing this without you, like oh my she's like fuck the other guitar. Like no so it was just a budgeting thing, and she was like,
that's oh my god, I can't imagine how does that even work, like budgeting for a whole band to go to Europe, like that can't be cheap.
It totally depends on like how, if you have a label, and if they do they pay for all that? I mean, well, she just left her label, so and labels are just like banks basically.
I've heard a lot of like mixed things about labels, like they try to kind of like own your music, your rights, and like kind of control you, like
so they'll give you a certain amount of money. They'll be like, oh, here's $1 million to promote your music, and then you're in debt. You're paying fucking
it's like you want to have that trust with your label. You want to have a good connection. You don't want them to feel like oh, they're like robbing me,
right? And they need to prioritize you, and that's a problem that I think I think that's the problem that Romy had as well. Like they just weren't, you need to feel like you're not just you're signed and we're gonna leave you.
Exactly.
We're gonna care about you for 2 months.
Literally just right now where you're trending, and then
exactly like it's
like, that's messed up.
You never know. Like you have this band, the Walters, who had this song, I Love You So. It's that song on TikTok that was like, I love you so, please let me go, or whatever the fuck. That song got released like 4 or 5 years ago, and they broke up, and then that song started trending on TikTok, and it got fucking huge, and now they play on like,
are they back together?
They're back together, and they're like doing all this shit, and it's just, you never know when something's gonna pop off. Same with like Lizzo, like she dropped, I don't remember what the name of her first hit was, but it didn't pop up till like 2 years later.
I didn't even know that it took that long. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was like, I don't know if it was Truth Hurts or whatever.
Yeah, that one was
but
poppin'.
Yeah, I think she dropped that in like 2017. And it didn't.
So basically, be patient. You never know. Like just because it doesn't hit right away doesn't mean it can't pop off in like a couple months, even a year.
Like, you never know.
I'm inspired.
But yeah. No, I mean. Yeah, that's how it
Wow. Okay, wait. So, how did you prepare for the Coachella set? Like you said, you had 2 months. Like you knew 2 months before.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was like 2. Yeah, I think it was 2 months.
Were they like you need to go and do like rehearsals like in advance? Like what was that like? And then like the light rehearsal. Like they're like, oh, like is that a thing?
Yeah. No. So basically, I met up with Gigi and our producer, his name's Nick, and they just told me basically, do you want to do it? And I was like, I want to do it. What are you talking about? It's Coachella.
You're like, no, I'm busy that Sunday.
And then they were like, all right, I'll send you these songs, and then I was like, listen to the songs. I'm like, these are sick. She has an EP coming out called Dichotomy, so those are all the songs that I played on for Coachella. I didn't play on them for the record, but those are the songs I performed live. So basically they just sent me the set. I mean, it's an hour long set. Because it's a DJ set, right? But for the songs off her EP, she had the full band. So we were probably on stage for like 25 minutes of the set.
Okay. Does it feel like it's longer, or does the time go by fast when you're on stage?
Yeah, the time goes by fast.
It does?
Yeah, it does.
Like I feel like you must be like getting high off the energy like from the crowd. Like
oh my God.
I feel like just like
it was insane
intensity, like because like I've been to Coachella, so as someone who's like been in the crowd, like seeing the stage and the lights and like really immersing yourself in the music, I'm like, I know how I feel as like,
oh my God, it was
so
insane.
I'm like, it being reversed, I'm like, how are you feeling seeing that shit in front of you?
We played the Sahara stage.
Oh yeah, I know the Sahara stage.
You know that shit. I mean, it's insane. It's like this big ass.
It's such a vibe too. Yeah, it's like a little dome.
I've never played with a screen that big behind me, and like just like it was so crazy, and I've never played on a stage that big. I mean, I've never been backstage somewhere that big. Like it was just so like surreal, because I know I've been like dreaming of that shit since I was a kid.
And you were able to like explore I guess like have access to the festival once you were done with your set, or
so they let us. I had all the VIP access, whatever. Awesome. It was really cool. It was really sick.
Wow. Yeah. And was it like super hot? Like, were you like, was it ever a moment where you're like, oh my God,
actually,
I'm sweating?
Actually, the weather was great.
Really?
It was awesome. Yeah. The first weekend was a little hotter than the second one.
Right. Oh, you did 2 weekends.
Yeah.
Right?
So we played both weekends.
Sense. Okay. Yeah. Because I was wondering, like, because it always gets so hot when you're like raging, and I'm like, I wonder, like, when you're playing on the guitar, like, if your like fingers get sweaty and you like
I was really worried about that, but honestly, since the way the Sahara stage is, it's like a big dome, like half dome,
and they've done this before. They're like, we're not gonna let the artists like fuck up because we're like not like covering it up enough.
Right. Well, I don't know, that might not be the case for like all the stages. But for the Sahara stage it was nice. It was like really nice. I was actually way less sweaty than I thought it was gonna be. But it was hot out. For sure. It was dry. How
many people do you think were there, like, watching you? Like, estimate? Do
I
you
don't know how to guess that, but
but more than what you're used
I don't
to.
know. I showed my friend a picture of what the crowd looked like, and I was like, I don't know, maybe 1,000. He's like,
That was like more. Yeah.
He's like, I've played for
probably way
1,000
more.
people. It's not.
It's not 1,000.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, like 5,000. Like I have no idea.
Wow.
We were earlier in the day, but it filled out so fast because.
Wow.
I mean, it was the first day. It was Friday,
yeah.
So obviously, you know,
That's a
everyone
good day to perform,
right? Because everyone's there
awesome.
early, and no one's like all hungover.
Yeah,
and shit.
exactly.
They're
like all fresh, ready to go.
Right? They're like ready to rage.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. So
wow. And so, how are you preparing for Europe? I mean, that's a big. How long are you gonna be gone for? Like, how do you go about that?
Yeah. So like 2.5 weeks. So the event that we're doing first is the Malta Weekender. We're hoping for like Bring the Horizon, Bullet for My Valentine, all these people. And then after that, we're playing Slam Dunk Festival, which is a 2-day festival. First day's in Leeds, second one's in Hatfield, and then we're opening for Mod Sun in London.
Oh, I know Mod Sun.
Yeah,
he's Avril Lavigne's fiance, right?
They're engaged now. So I'm like, Avril, I hope you're there to see and hire
oh my god,
me. Like,
I love her.
Yeah, she. Oh my god, dude! Like, Girlfriend was one of my favorite songs.
Me too.
Once it came out,
I was like, she's literally the coolest person ever. Like, she really is like such a badass. I'm like, till this day, I'm like, I need to see her. I will find her.
Right?
Where are you?
I know. I have never seen her, but
I know you probably will soon.
Eventually, I know. I'm just gonna hope she's backstage in London and be like, hang out with me, Avril. Hey, bestie.
Oh my god, imagine that would be.
I mean,
imagine collabing with her. That'd be so.
Oh my god, that'd be so sick.
I think you could you should cover her song and then be like. Tag her, be like,
right?
Yo.
I know. Oh my god, I should.
You never know until you try.
Right, very true. You never know. I mean,
and she sees your like TikTok, and she's like, "This girl got talent." Like, yeah, we need to collab. You never
know. Well, I mean, one of my like
happen.
TikTok mutuals. I don't know if you've heard of like Toa Bird, but she's arguably bigger than me on like Instagram, TikTok, and she played. She just like posts these videos tagging like Willow Smith. Willow Smith reposted her video of her playing guitar.
Wow.
And like insane. And then, you know, she ended up being in Olivia Rodrigo's movie like thing, like playing guitar in the band as well as like Blue to Tiger.
Oh wow.
The bassist, you know. Who they're both sick.
Yeah.
But, you know, I haven't hung out with Toa. I randomly ran into Toa in West Hollywood, and then I've hung out with Blue to Tiger in New York for a little bit. But yeah, they're both really cool. But they're also another testament to this whole like TikTok can really get you into the music scene. Yeah, like it's such a big part of the music scene now.
Yeah. I wonder if I wonder if it has that same hype with like the film industry stuff, because I'm like, I don't know how you could necessarily make like TikToks that like highlight your, you know,
I have seen like filmmakers do that, but it's like, I don't know, I haven't seen like, you know, I don't see a lot of people being like, oh my god, I'm a fan of this filmmaker on TikTok.
Right.
You know
That's
what I mean?
that's what I was thinking too. Like, is that out there? Like, I'm like,
I don't know. That is something I've always wondering. Like, how do y'all get into that? How is that something that you?
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Right. Like,
it's honestly just like working different projects and hopefully like snowballs into like something else, meeting other people, you know, collabing together. Like, that's kind of how it like happens in the film industry. I mean, also going to film school has helped too, because you meet people in film school and then you're like, oh, like let's work on each other's stuff. But with you, it's like you didn't really have like, because you didn't go to did you go to music school, or was it just regular school?
I
Not
tried
just regular school. But
I tried doing music school for a second. I did online classes at MI before I moved out here, because I thought, oh, I'll move to LA and then I'll go to school in person.
Are
I'll
you
make
self-taught,
friends?
Or do you take some?
Like, I don't know. Like, for a while, I was always in and out of lessons. Okay. So a lot of what I do is I taught myself, but some of it is from lessons. I don't know. It's hard to say. Yeah. I usually say yes, ? But I also don't want to discredit all the guitar teachers that I have had, you know, because I've been in and out of guitar lessons here and there.
That makes sense.
But a lot of YouTube taught me as well.
I'm excited that you're writing lyrics too now, and you're gonna start singing like that.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah, that's the hardest
elevate
part for
everything
me.
To the next level. Like,
I'm really excited for that.
like maybe you'll be singing at Coachella right next.
I know, that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, maybe next time I won't be playing for someone else, which I don't mind.
What is like your, I guess, your next goal? Because like you're hitting some pretty big goals. Like these are already like, you know, great things to be proud of yourself. So it's like where do you see yourself, or what do you want to do next?
Yeah, I mean, what I really want to do is I'm trying to find my sound right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been working with a bunch of different producers and, you know, trying to figure out what I want to do. Because like I said, I'm so influenced by so many different things. Like I like EDM and punk and rock and metal and rap even. You know, I like
I would
pretty
love
much
to see
everything.
that. I was going to actually ask you, like, if you have done like a cover, like when a little sample for like maybe Meg Thee Stallion or like Cardi B, like someone that has like good beats, like rap beats, and then like come in with the air guitar.
Right, like no, I'm super into all of that stuff.
It'd be awesome. I'm like, I'd like that.
I just like music that sounds good, pretty much. I'm not super picky.
Feel something too.
Right, I like music that makes me feel something. I like stuff that's bassy, like physically makes me feel something. But yeah, I mean, pretty much my goal is to find my sound and then, you know, sort of start to build a brand. My ideal situation is I don't really care about having a massive following. I really want a cult following. Yeah. Because I feel like fans. Right. Like I don't want like a million people who listen to me sometimes. Right. Like I want like I'd rather have 10,000 people who like buy the merch, come to the shows, do all that streaming all the time.
Which I totally like. I get that. Like I totally, that's preach. I'm like, that's real shit right there. Yeah. You know? Like,
plus, once you get that small group of like hardcore fans, that inevitably will increase.
It's kind of like with friends too. It's like you don't need like all these friends that are, like, necessarily like not even your real friends, but even a small tight circle, and they're like, you know, those are your people. It's like it's a different feeling. It makes you feel good, and you feel like supported, and you're like, okay.
Yeah. Plus, you want to have some like closeness with you know.
Do you use your like personal experiences to help, you know, write your music or even, you know, create? Yeah, like how does it come to you? Like, do you sit down and you're like, I'm gonna like try to write something, or you're like, oh, maybe you had like a bad breakup and you're like, I'm gonna use this.
I mean, it's so funny. Like,
or is that too cliche? I'm like,
no,
I don't know.
it's actually, I don't know, because sometimes I've never sat down. No, it's a lie. I have sat down.
I've never sat down.
No, I've never sat down. No, literally the only time I've actually sat down to write a song was my most recent breakup. Like I finished it, but you know, I pretty much just lyric ideas will come to me throughout the day. I have like a massive notes app just full of random stuff. That's literally me with the
movie ideas. I'm like, bing, I'm like, hurry, write it on my
iPhone. Right. Or the worst thing is if you're doing something else and you can't write it and then you fucking forget.
No, and you're like, I'll remember it, and then you don't remember it. And you're like, oh.
Right.
God, right. Too many times.
But a lot of my sessions have actually been with writers, so that's been so helpful because.
So you actually like sit down with other writers and you're like, so how does that work? Because like we do something similar like that when we screenwrite, right? Like you sit with another screenwriter and you're like, let's jot ideas of like what the story can be, the character, like their backstory, blah blah blah. But like with music, how do you do that? Like how do you shape, I guess, the lyrics or the song?
Yeah, I mean, well, typically I'll go into a session and it's like me, a producer, and a writer. And since I play guitar, like me and the producer will figure something out. You know, I'll play a guitar riff and they'll like bounce off of it, whatever. Okay. And then based off of what the vibe of what the song is starting to sound like, then the writer will sort of jump in and be like, okay, so what do you want to write about? You know, what does this song sound like to you?
Right.
What's on your mind? Yeah. It's not like they're like, okay, well, so here's the song. And like you're going to sing it. Right. So, actually one of my sessions I did with this producer, his name's Boy Blue. I went into the session and the writer, I forget her name. I can look it up. But basically we were just talking. She was like, what do you want to write about? He was like, tell me what's going on in your life. Yeah,
tell me what's going on in your life.
No, yes,
like,
it's so funny.
Session? Okay.
It's crazy because that's so how it is. Yeah, that's how it needs to be,
like, though. The shit that makes you feel something, right? Like, exactly. Like I feel like if it was like, oh, just tell me like what you had for lunch and we'll make it a song. Like nobody would really, nobody would connect.
That's how it has to be. But it is
shade of burrito.
Yeah, it is intimidating because you're just walking into the session and they're like, okay, be vulnerable. Like always.
Right. Are you someone that can be like vulnerable, or would you say you're a little bit more like to yourself? Because like for me personally, like that would be a lot to ask for, like to just be like open up. I'd be like,
Right. I'm like, I used to be like, here's all my trauma. And now at this point, I'm kind of like, okay, I don't want to like tell everyone everything.
Right.
But for my last session, not my last session, but this session that I was talking about is basically I was describing like, oh yeah, I just went through a breakup and you know, I was said something about my roommate and they're like, oh, tell us about your roommate. What's he like? And I was like, oh yeah, so he's best friends with my ex. Okay. And so they were like,
that's
okay.
a little tricky.
Right. They were like, that's interesting. Let's write a song about it.
That is interesting. Okay,
you know,
see how that works. Oh, that's interesting. That's very clever.
Yeah, super random. So now I have a song that has my roommate's name in it. Name drops him and
that's
everything.
That's so funny. Does he know?
Oh yeah, I showed it to him. Okay, he loves it. He thinks it's, I mean...
No, I'd be like, you wrote a song about me. Like, that's awesome.
Right, yeah. I mean, obviously, I live with him, and then my ex is, like, in the Bay Area, so it's not like...
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just super, super funny. Like, such a weird...
Wow. That's so... No, I'm glad that you gave me insight on that, because I've always been very curious about that, because, you know, I've watched, like, different movies about, like, different artists, singers, or whatever, and they go into the booth, and they're like, all right, I'm gonna, like, record, and then they like just hit it.
So,
and I'm like, okay,
for me, it's
they just,
so not like
I'm
that.
like, they just know, like,
right? Some people can. I mean, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, another one that we did was like, I did a session with this guy Dave Burris and this writer Rebecca Kruger, and we just like. I'm just like to clown around sometimes in sessions and just say like off the cuff stuff like for lyric ideas because I never fucking know what to say. Yeah. I don't know if I'm alled to curse. I've been cursing a lot.
No, it's the R-rated podcast. Please.
Cool. That's what I thought. I was like, okay, it's the R-rated, right?
It's a PG-13 podcast.
Yeah. But basically, like, she's like, okay, we're just. She was like, okay, this song kind of sounds like, oh, you're like mad at someone, whatever, like you've been wronged by someone, whatever. And something came up and I was like, oh, what if this is like an enemies to lovers? Ooh. Like I said some kind of lyric idea, or she did, and I was like, what if it's an enemies to lovers? Yeah. And then I was like, what if it's a gay enemies to lovers?
Ooh, okay.
And so we have a song that's like this like lesbian enemies to lovers sort of type thing. I mean, it doesn't have to be lesbian.
No,
it seems that way.
Cool. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was such a cool idea.
Like, how do you say that in the song? Like, are you literally saying that? Like, oh, like lesbian, like to enemies, or like, are you like, is it like, if you know, you know, like how are you going about it in the song?
Well, the pre-chorus goes, do you want to be me or be with me? And then it says, you only want to fight so you can touch me. And then also in the chorus, I say you're a bitch, which kind of kind of insinuates that it's like not a guy.
Right.
I mean,
like
it could
that.
be, but
Yeah. I mean, could also
that, right? But I'm like, okay, this is great because I
already
have
what
this
I was looking for. I'm like, what's that? Like, what are we using to like know?
Right. And I'm like, oh, great, that's great visual. I'm like, I have this music video. I'm like, we're gonna have a cheerleader and she's bullying me, but she's actually in love with me. Like, I don't know.
Classic cheerleader.
Right?
I'm like, this is real life.
Oh my God. It's
like
so
PTSD.
Funny. Right.
Back in high school, I'm like, the cheer team hates me.
That's so funny. Oh my God. Yeah, I have dated a cheerleader before, but not in high school.
No.
Yeah. No.
I think maybe it's just a stereotype. I don't know.
No, she was not nice. It's okay.
She was not nice.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. But
do you have any like music videos? Is that like your next like step? Like having music videos to your songs? Like,
yeah. I haven't even dropped music yet. You know, that's my next goal pretty much.
Yeah. Are you thinking like maybe like drop the song or drop like a whole album or like a mixtape? Is that like
I don't know. I guess it'd probably be called like an EP. But yeah, I don't know. Because I'm like sort of a firm believer in like you should just go for an album, but then it's also now people's attention spans are so short. Like you drop this whole album, but then it's like, okay, people are they going to listen to 60 minutes or are they going to listen to 2.5 minutes?
Right.
So now sort of the standard for dropping music is one single every 6 weeks. 6 or 8 weeks. Oh, yeah. Nice. So a lot of artists are doing that now.
And how long does it typically take to write a song and like make it all come together? Because I feel like, you know, you can't rush that process either. Like,
right. Yeah. I mean, all the sessions I've been sort of describing, I just sort of go into it, and some I've had one session that was 4 hours, like
Okay.
the Lesbian Enemies to Lovers one. That was a 4-hour session, and that's like my favorite song we've written.
Is that like general time, or is that like short?
No,
on the it doesn't
yeah,
seem like
it's
that
short.
long.
No,
yeah,
it's super
like,
short.
4 hours.
And I've had another one that was like 8 hours or something. It was crazy. I think we started at like 3 p.m. and left at 11, and we didn't finish the song. We literally got verse, chorus, and then nothing else.
So the goal is to like walk in the studio and come out with the song fully finished.
Not all. I mean, I don't know. I think it's different every time.
I was like, holy shit.
With this producer that I work with, like that we had this super long session. We just got along really well, and we just had so many ideas.
Yeah.
And also we were really just trying to get the right delivery for everything.
Right.
Some producers will have you like just do a vocal one time and be like, all right, that's it, we're just gonna leave that for now. And then other producers will be like, oh no, let's do this like 5 times, 10 times, which is fine, because I prefer to have like a really good demo. I want to be able to listen to it and be like, yeah, this is sick. This is like I feel comfortable like hearing myself. Hearing my voice has been the biggest insecurity.
I was gonna say, you know how it's like when you take a video and then you hear your voice, and you're like, oh my god, do I really
exactly
sound like that? Like, that's even when I like record the pod, I'm like, do I sound like that? Like,
right? Because I'm like thinking now. I'm thinking right now. I'm like overanalyzing my words. Like, how am I gonna sound?
You sound great. No, you sound great.
Thanks. I try to learn how to talk sometimes. But yeah, that's been the hardest thing, because I've always sort of. I like the idea of singing, but then when I hear my voice, I'm like, oh my god, no one's gonna like this. And now that I've been practicing, and I feel like every session gets better and better. Of course. And every time I'll send it to my family or my friends, they'll be like, this is insane. Like, you know, you've grown so much. I want to
listen. I'm excited. You have to play something for me after this.
You'll hear it. Yeah. I'll show you.
Hell yeah, I'll hear it.
Yeah.
Super excited.
Everyone will hear it soon, hopefully. I just gotta figure out what foot I want to put forward first. That's the hard part.
No, that's super exciting, because like, I mean, first of all, to just be able to like write a song, and then you're gonna like play the instruments, and you're gonna sing, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're a one-man show, you don't even need anyone else.
Right? I mean, I love the idea of being in a band, and like you're on stage and you like turn to your left and you see your best buddy, and like you know what I mean?
Does it feel safe? Or do you just like, is it the energy of like, we're all doing this together? Like, raging, or is it just like nice knowing that there's someone else on stage with you?
I think it's the third one. I think it's just nice knowing that there's someone on stage with me. And also there is like the energy of doing it together. Yeah. I don't know. I always try to be interactive with the people that I'm playing with too. Like I love to like, I don't want to be like, I'm going to steal the show. Like, I just love to make it. Did you get a
solo? Like, does that, like, how does that get determined?
Yeah. It depends on the song, you know, if the song lends itself to it. Right. You know, I'm always trying to play for the song, not like over the song.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean?
That's mature to like be able to say that too, and be like, okay, like I'm not just like doing this, like I'm not like taking this moment just for myself, like you know what I mean?
Yeah, like at Coachella, it's like I was not hired to be. It's not it's not my name on the flyer, you know.
Fireworks pop out.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna like. Right. You know, I don't know, smash my guitar. Like
that would be cool, but expensive.
I really could. Very expensive.
Maybe one day. Maybe like
it'll happen one day.
Yeah, I was like, that has to happen. I feel like that's like
oh my
iconic.
God.
Like,
super iconic.
The
I love that.
Smash.
Gotta do it at some point.
You have to do it.
Maybe for a music video.
I was gonna say that.
It has to be really captured.
And then you can get a prop guitar, so you don't actually have to damage a real one.
Right. Exactly. And eventually, once I get an endorsement, they can just send me one to smash. So you know.
Do you have like a signature guitar? Like it's like, this is my baby, like we've performed every song together, or like are you like you have multiple and you kind of like, you know, maybe for certain shows you use this guitar or that guitar, like
I have multiple. The one that I have that's my favorite is actually not the one that I play with all the time, because well, one, it's in the Bay right now, but the one I have is it's like super, it's just like this matte black and like sort of chrome guitar, and it matches with everything. Yeah, it sounds great, and I love to play it. So that's what I use for everything.
Love it.
I mean, sometimes I'll bring a different guitar to sessions or whatever. But for live, I use the same guitar every time, pretty much.
That's loyalty. I love it.
I love seeing all the like wood scratches on it. And I'm like, oh, this is how I know. That show, right? Like,
this experience. That's so cool.
I'm like, this is how I know I've really played this.
You know, it was also funny. Well, not funny. I thought it was really cool, actually. When I looked up your TikTok, my cousin, who's like in her 20s, she actually follows you.
Really?
I was like, oh my god,
That's
was like,
so funny.
So cool. I was like, my family already is a fan, so
yeah, that's
really
so funny.
cool. Yeah, so small world. But yeah, basically we can wrap up. I just want to, thank you for coming on the podcast and talking about.
Thanks
your
for having me.
No,
I've never done a podcast, so
you did
this
great.
is fun.
You're natural.
I love to talk.
Your voice sounds great.
I try my best.
I'm like, you definitely, you got it in the bag. You're like, hello, I'm ready.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
But yeah, if you want to throw out your TikTok for people to follow, or any other platform,
all my stuff.
Yes.
All right,
boom.
Jayden J Hammer on everything. That's JAYDEN J Hammer like the tool. On everything, pretty much.
Love it.
And then if you're in the UK, come see me playing with Death by Romy. Yeah, that's.
I'm like, me and V might go to Malta and just be like,
pull up,
smash your guitar.
Right,
your guitar.
I'll do it. Don't tempt me.
If you hear it, that's us.
Yeah, don't tempt me with a good time.
Or we'll just see you at Coachella next year. I mean,
hopefully,
I'm totally okay
I would
with
love
doing
that
too. So
I would love to go to
either
Coachella.
way. And if you ever need a music video, I'm your girl.
That's so true. That's such a good point.
But thank you again so much for coming on, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye. Yay!
Yay!